thank you very much for coming here, taking your precious time out. I know I heard that there was some conference which was scheduled with Mr. RLG. So I think that is why people got delayed, but that's okay. Thank you very much. Just before I start about the report, the survey what we have conducted, how many of you are cybersecurity savvy? Cybersecurity savvy in the sense who knows about cybersecurity. So there are only 5 or 6 which I can count on, but people who are not. Okay, so this is not just, I was trying to understand the audience, and accordingly, my communication has to be, which means that I would want to be in an absolutely layman's language so that everyone understands, okay? That's the whole objective of asking. If there are many people who are more cybersecurity savvy people, then I can use more jargons, but I will try and restrict myself. Okay, what exactly is a survey and where it has been conducted? So this is just a brief snapshot. This is about a survey which was conducted starting from January 2023 to March 2023. Respondents were total 3,000 who actually responded to this survey. What kind of organizations which were interviewed, like starting from 100 user kind of organization to the 5,000 user kind of organization. How many countries this survey was done? 14 countries. India was one of them. I will, in my next slide, will give you the details about India, that how many organizations, before you ask me a question, sir, out of this 3,000, how many organizations were in India? And what kind of annual revenue primarily of those organizations which were surveyed, starting from a $10 million, in rupee you can understand that almost 80 crore, starting from 75-80 crores to $5 billion. Now, let's talk about India, because we are here to address the audience of India per large, and that's the whole objective. So, out of those 3,300 people belong to India, the people who respond to this survey. They were primarily Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Majority of the 6 major metros is what we covered up. This is a vendor agnostic survey. So I would want to be categorically tell you that this is not that it was a survey, although we actually hired a third party agency, but it was a vendor agnostic. We didn't ask about the competition, this and that. It was purely a survey, and we were asking a vendor agnostic questions. Not about Sophos, not about any other brand. Questions were asked primarily about the ransomware and ransomware attacks in their organization, and how they dealt with the ransomware attack, how much time it took them to come out of it and start working in a normal way. We also asked questions regarding how many companies were using cyber insurance. When those organizations were interviewed and survey was conducted, we found that the ransomware, the organizations which were hit by ransomware, primarily that number of organizations have gone, in terms of percentage, they have gone from 57% to 73%. Organizations said, yes, we were attacked by ransomware. 57% last year, which means 2021, the whole calendar year, and 2022 calendar year is coming to 73%. That's a huge jump, which means that almost more than two-thirds of the organizations were attacked by ransomware. They experienced the attack. Rate of ransomware, how much money was paid? Primarily, this is a concern, and that's where people ask, sir, how much money was paid on an average? So we asked the respondents about this question, and we found that almost 66% of the organizations have paid less than $100,000. You can easily multiply the $100,000 into 8, which becomes 80 lakh rupees. If today you take a 1 USD is equal to 80 rupees, it's like 80 lakh rupees, less than 80 lakh rupees were paid most of the organizations. I mean, 66% of the organizations. If you look at another one, which is almost 29% of the organizations have paid money between $100,000 to $500,000 or $499. That's the money which they did. And almost 6% of the organizations have paid more than $500,000. $500,000, you understand? I'm talking about 4 crore in Indian. There is also, I mean, since all these cities were surveyed and respondents answered, which city had the maximum ransomware attack? You can see that. So, I mean, Chennai came out to the 89% of the respondents said, yes, we got attacked. You look at Kolkata, which is almost 76% or 77% is Kolkata. Similarly, Bangalore was the third one, but I am not sure about why Chennai and Bangalore is coming first, second, and Kolkata coming third, and why Delhi is also compared to similar kind of Bangalore actually, similar kind of percentage. Delhi and Bangalore coming to the same percentage seems to be okay. Chennai, again, as you rightly mentioned, that what kind of security measures people were doing, and depending upon that, what kind of attack. So really, that information was not surveyed in this. Now, root cause, that was very, very interesting. Why the attack happened? So the most important root cause of the attack which was found was exploiting the vulnerability. That was the first number one. Number two is the compromising credentials. Anyone understand credentials? Passwords, primarily. Malicious email, everyone understands email which has malicious content, and you click on that email and then you phishing, everybody understands phishing. Brute force attack is kind of attack on your password. They will try and apply combinations and permutations. Ye kaam karega, wo kaam karega, ye kaam karega. So that's kind of brute force attack. So these are the primarily reason for, but 3 major reasons if you look at is the organization perspective, I tell you, exploiting the vulnerability. Second is the compromising credentials, password, and malicious email. So these are the 3 very, very important. Now, data encryption. Ransomware as a word means kidnapping the data. But how do you kidnap the data? Data is lying in your computer and someone is trying to kidnap that data from US, Russia, China, wherever the cyber criminal could be. What does it do? So what they do is primarily very simple, that they get into your software, they get into your data, and finally they encrypt that data. The key is with them actually, to decrypt. And that's exactly encryption happens. And you are not able to open any file. Access denied, please contact so and so. The information will be, please contact me and pay ransomware to me, and then release your data. So it was found that companies, as we move on starting from 2021 to 22 to 23, you look at the data encryption is more than 75% on an average. Whenever attack has happened, most of the organizations got data encrypted.
This is for global or Indian?
I'm talking about India right now. Look at that, 77% out of the organization which got attacked. Out of that, 77% data was encrypted. And out of those 77%, where the data was encrypted, it was also found that 38% of the ransomware attacks where the data was also stolen. Have you heard that data was stolen and put on the dark web? Anyone? Yes or no? Yeah? So not only just data is being encrypted, it is also about data being stolen from the organization. How the data recovery happens, and I am sure that people would be interested to understand that the data recovery, 73% of the people actually uses the backup. They had already a backup data, and from there they built up their main server. There were some 43%, they also paid the ransomware and got the data back. And there are 20% actually, which is a combination. So the 73% what you see may not be just from the backup, but would have also paid. So it's a combination. So it may not just add up to 100%. People might question. So this is 73 plus 43. This is like more than one way. Like data backup is there, some backup they could get, something they could also release it from the cyber criminals. The combination strategies. There's another question which we wanted to understand, that on the uptake of cyber insurance and general insurance. Very important is that 41% of the organization said they have a separate cyber insurance policy. Separate cyber insurance policy. And 52% they had, I have a complete insurance policy, and cyber insurance is also a part of it. And 7% they said, no, we have not taken any kind of policy which has a cyber insurance or a cyber insurance. Anyone understands about the mean recovery cost? This is primarily the cost which is required where people were unproductive, they were not working. So number of man days and man hours that is involved. Tools like your servers and softwares which got involved into it, and the backup which was, so complete, so total setup which required for someone to coming back to the normal is what we found that slowly it is started to reduce starting from 2021 to 2023. It appears that organizations are getting more sensitive. They are more prepared than in comparison to 2 years back. How much business impact? Almost all organizations which got attacked by ransomware, almost 85% is almost all. They were impacted. And business was impacted, simply. And there was a loss in revenue. So it's the $1 billion, which I was talking about last slide. There is an opportunity cost also. Because if you are not able to do business during those days, it's an opportunity loss also. Okay, recovery time. How many organizations took what time frame to recover back? If you look at 59% of the organizations, they recovered within a week. Okay, up to a week they took. And very less, almost 24-25% took up to a month. But that's too much. And then the other balanced organization like 15 to 16% took almost 6 months also, up to 6 months, maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Conclusion, very simple. We are almost on the last 2-3 slides. Conclusion is very, very important. Ransomware remains a major threat. That's given. Okay, ransomware attack, in spite of there are many other attacks which are available to cyber criminals, but this remains a major threat for any kind of organization. And adversaries, people who are trying to evolve, they continue to evolve their attacks, and it's not that the organization are going to get hit once. The chances are, if they have not done a good job, then they are supposed to be getting hit by twice or thrice. Data, another important thing was that data theft also happened. I think 38%, if I correctly remember. Wherever they encrypted or ransomware attack happened, 38% data was stolen. That's another, And every organization, whether financial or operational, there was an impact to the organization, and that has been increasing over the last year. There are multiple benefits which came out of using backup. Backup use where survey like in terms of 22 or 23, they are saying it has dropped a bit. But in my opinion, I think backup, people are using backup as one of the methodologies to restore back when they get into, but they don't know how to also secure their backup. Because when your organization get attacked, if you have not properly configured, cyber criminals are very intelligent people. So not only just the number of users, okay, I have 500 users, but it's a small organization. That's not the criteria. They always went behind by the larger organization, larger revenue. What are the recommendations from our side now? Survey is report is what we have concluded. That protection, jitne bhi, you see, cybersecurity tools are supposed to be deployed, whether email security, whether it is about the network security, or it is about the endpoint security. They are supposed to be deployed. They can take care of 98% protection against the attacks. 98%.
Deployment is fine, but you also need to do the patching and updates and all that stuff.
So I'm coming to that, sir. This is very much their timely patching. So that's a good security hygiene, you know. So timely patching is very, very important, and at the same time, the tools which you have deployed, you also need to look at the configuring that, because sometimes you forget to configure those tools. How do you configure? इसको बोलते हैं जैसे आप अपनी ऑटोमोबाइल है, अपनी कार है ना, फाइन ट्यून कराना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज उसका एवरेज ठीक नहीं आएगा, है ना. सो हियर आल्सो साइबर सिक्योरिटी टूल्स, जितने भी टूल्स हैं वो जब हम डिप्लॉय करते हैं उसमें हमें मालूम होना चाहिए. एंड हमारे समवेयर as the attackers, means cyber criminals, and their attacks are evolving, the technology which customers are using needs to also evolve to take care proactively. Okay, so it is like someone is trying to enter into an organization. If you as a defender is able to give the first one to them, and then you have a chance to think that what else I need to do, you know, that gives you an advantage of time, and that's exactly the defensive mechanism it is. Otherwise, if this defensive mechanism is not strong, you enter easily, you are able to do what you want to do, then you will have a maximum impact in your organization. 24/7 threat detection and response. Is there anyone who has heard about this? That nowadays, for cyber criminals who are working 24/7, the defense mechanism also needs to have a monitoring 24/7.
Yes.
Now the point is, we are looking at two things. One is the tools which are doing their jobs, but I am saying you need to combine that with human intelligence. Otherwise, it becomes difficult to actually counter those kind of cyber criminals. So you need to combine, and there are people, there are researchers, they are called threat hunters. Okay, there are threat hunters available who are part of some of the organizations hire them, some of the organization outsource, you know, that kind of a work which is called 24/7 monitoring, detection and response, which is called managed detection and response, primarily MDR kind of solution. Taking regular backup, practicing recovery and all that, I think we have already covered up. And this is what Sophos, what we offer. I can tell you that I have been seeing the competitions, you know, my competition organization, but none of the organization offers such a vast product portfolio which we offer today. Starting from endpoint, network security, email security, encryption, you name it actually. We have almost all. And the best thing what Sophos offers today is that these products talk to each other. It is very important when you have security guards in a bank, they need to have a walkie-talkie so that they have a mechanism to understand where the threat is, and if some threat is approaching, he's able to inform the other one and alert the other guy. Very, very important. And isolate that area. So very important, you know, in terms of how the cyber criminals and cyber threat works actually. So we have endpoint, NDR, XDR, we have entire, and this is all being backed up by our Sophos lab, Sophos research lab, and at the same time, we also have security operations centers in 6 countries across the globe, where 500 those so-called threat researchers and threat hunters have been working with us to give this kind of service to our customers. Best ransomware defense, I think I just spoke about MDR, managed detection and response, and I think I spoke in the layman's language that, you know, you need to have tools and ammunitions, and at the same time intelligence to monitor your entire infra. Today you have deployed tools, but someone is taking advantage of something. The person, the threat hunter is able to understand 3 a.m. you are sleeping and able to take the preventive action then and there, mitigate the risk. That's exactly is the need of the hour. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult for 2-man's organization, 5-man's organization to literally work on the alerts which are being generated by these cybersecurity tools. Can you imagine cybersecurity tools, how many alerts do you think they are generating on an average? If you have, in your organization, you have email security, network security, endpoint security, you name, these kind of, let's say 8 or 9 cybersecurity solutions, tools. They are generating almost 4,000 cybersecurity. 4,000. There is a survey which was conducted on an enterprise kind of organization which was using 44 cybersecurity tools. 44 cybersecurity tools. 17,000 security alerts were generated every week. Every week. Do you think the manpower, the kind of manpower which is required to do that job and take a proactive action, first observe, go through all that stuff, not possible. And that's where the Security Operations Center or MDR kind of solution comes into the picture. Another one which we were talking about, that how do you protect yourself from the password stuff and all that. How do you know that the person who's trying to connect with me is the authentic, genuine person? And that's where ZTNA kind of solutions, zero trust network access. The solution itself tells you, I don't trust until unless you tell me and shake hands with me with the proper, kind of IDs. So that's where this also works, so you are actually not allowing any external person to intrude your organization. So that's where this is one of the solutions. So, but I would want to bore with more solutions and stuff. I think I hope that I was able to explain some basic stuff. And that was it. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.